Today we're going to be talking about installing the data repository component of CA Performance Management. The data repository is where all of the metric data is stored. There are a few things that we need to look at before we install the software. The prerequisites include ensuring that the firewall is set up properly, that CPU frequency scaling is disabled, there's a minimum of 2 GB of swap space, that the ext3 or ext4 file system is used for the data and catalog directories. Note that LVM or the Logical Volume Manager is not supported for these directories. Make sure that your time zone is set, make sure that your host file is correct, and verify the hardware and network performance using the HP Vertica tools. Okay, now that the prerequisites are all set, we're going to go ahead and install the software. I've already copied this file over. Note that the data aggregator and the data repository are packaged together. This is to ensure that they are compatible with each other. I'm going to go ahead and extract these files. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and run the data repository installer. I'm using the -i console flag because I'm on a console. I'm going to choose the language. I'm going to scroll through the EULA. Notice that the host evaluation will do a rudimentary check of the system. This is checking for memory and the number of cores available. On my test system, I do not meet the system requirements. In a production environment, ensure that you meet all requirements for the software. The first prompt is asking me where I would like to place the Vertica RPM. Note that during this install process, I'm going to be copying the RPM and some script files to a directory. I am then going to modify those script files for my particular environment and then run the actual installer. Okay, everything's been copied over. I've pressed enter to exit the installer, and I'm going to change directories into the directory that we specified during the install. Inside this directory, I see a few different files. The one that I want to edit is called drinstall.properties. Inside this file, I'm going to make a few changes. The first thing that we can specify is the user who will be the database administrator. I'm going to leave that dr admin. The second thing that we can change is the home directory for that user. On this particular system, it's not export, but it's home. So I've made that change. The location of the data and the catalog directories can be specified. I'm going to leave those alone as well. And then the host names for your data repository. Your data repository can be installed in a cluster configuration. For this video, I am using a single host. The next things that I can specify are the database name and the database password. Okay, so I'm done editing this file. The next thing that we'll do is run the dr_validate script. The -p flag will tell me the property file to use. I'll use the one that we just modified and hit enter. When I do this, the system will use the information in the properties file to go through and validate settings on the system. It will make changes to your system for you. So, for example, passwordless SSH will be set up. You'll note that there are some warnings on this. That means that the system has found things that are inconsistent with a system that should be installed on, but it will try and change those things. We can run the script again to see if those changes have taken effect. Okay, we see a couple errors here that are warnings, but these are ones that we can work around. So now what I'm going to do is run the install script. So this is dr install. I'll use the same -p for properties file and use our properties file that we've modified and hit enter. You'll see that we're being asked for a password for the dr admin user. Okay, we've successfully installed the data repository component of CA Performance Management. To validate this, I'm going to switch users to the dr admin user. Now I'm going to run the admin tools for the Vertica database. Inside the admin tools, selection number 1 will show me the cluster state. If I hit enter, I can see that my database is up. I can hit E to exit, and then exit, and we're done with our install.